It is late. You sent the message hours ago. They saw it, but they did not answer. Now your mind is writing a second message. A longer one. A clearer one. A softer one. Maybe an apology. Maybe a joke. Maybe a just checking in. Before you send it, stop. Because the second message is rarely about communication. It is usually about discomfort. It is your mind trying to escape silence, uncertainty, and the fear of being ignored. In this video, you will learn the Stoic way to handle unanswered messages. Stop chasing clarity from people who are giving you confusion, and protect your dignity without becoming cold. Comment "wait" if you have ever regretted sending the second message. The first thing to understand is this. Silence feels painful because the mind turns it into a verdict. No reply becomes rejection. Delay becomes disrespect. Distance becomes proof. The message is still unanswered, but your imagination has already built a whole courtroom around it. They do not care. I said too much. I should not have sent that. I need to explain myself. I need to fix this. I need to say one more thing. This is why the second message feels urgent. Not because the situation is truly urgent. Because your mind wants relief. Epictetus taught that people are disturbed not by things alone, but by the judgments they make about them. An unanswered message is a fact. They are done with me is a judgment. No reply yet is a fact. I am being humiliated is a judgment. And once the judgment appears, the nervous system reacts as if the judgment were already proven. That is why people send the second message too quickly. They are not responding to the actual situation. They are responding to the story they built around the situation. So slow down and separate the two. What do you actually know? You know that you sent a message. You know that it has not been answered. You may know that it was seen. That is all. Everything else is interpretation. And interpretation, when mixed with loneliness, insecurity, and late-night overthinking, becomes a very dangerous writer. The second thing to understand is this. The second message usually says more about your state than about your point. Sometimes people tell themselves they are just clarifying, but often they are trying to relieve emotional pressure. The first message was communication. The second message is often self-soothing. Look at how it happens. You send a normal message. Maybe it was honest. Maybe it was vulnerable. Maybe it was simple. Then silence arrives. Instead of sitting with uncertainty, you start editing yourself. Maybe that sounded too cold. Maybe it sounded too eager. Maybe I should explain what I meant. Maybe I should say, I did not mean it like that. Maybe I should make it lighter. Maybe I should ask if everything is okay. So you send another message. Then sometimes a third. Now what was once clear has become heavy. What was once simple has become anxious. And the person on the other side is no longer only receiving your words. They are receiving your state. This matters because people respond not only to content, but to energy. Clarity feels different from chasing. Calm feels different from panic. A person who sends one honest message and waits communicates self-respect. A person who keeps sending follow-ups often communicates internal instability, even if the words themselves sound polite. That does not make you bad. It makes you human. But it does mean the second message can quietly weaken your position. Not because you played a social game badly, because you abandoned your center trying to force certainty from someone who was not giving it. Marcus Aurelius constantly returned to one essential discipline: stay with what is yours. Your judgment, your action, your character, your next choice. The other person's response is not yours. Their speed is not yours. Their emotional clarity is not yours. Their honesty is not yours. Your next action is yours. That is where Stoicism begins. The third thing is harder, but more freeing. Silence is information. It may not be complete information. It may not be the information you want, but it is information. A delayed reply tells you something. An inconsistent pattern tells you something. A person who only responds when convenient tells you something. A person who disappears when the conversation becomes real tells you something. Many people ruin their own clarity by refusing to accept that silence is already part of the answer. They keep chasing a cleaner answer, a final answer, a perfectly worded answer. But not every person gives closure with words. Some give it with distance. Some give it with confusion. Some give it with delay. Some give it by making you do all the emotional labor while they remain passive. This is why the second message can become a trap. It is often an attempt to force clarity from someone who is already communicating through behavior. Seneca warned against becoming the servant of what disturbs you. When silence disturbs you, the temptation is to go chase it until it speaks. But if you always do that, then silence controls you. Delay controls you. Unread messages control you. Seen notifications control you. Another person's uncertainty becomes the lever that moves your whole emotional life. That is too much power to hand away. The Stoic response is not to pretend you do not care. It is to care without surrendering your self-command. You can want an answer and still remain composed. You can feel disappointed and still protect your dignity. You can notice the silence and still refuse to chase it. That is strength. Now here is the practical rule. Do not send the second message while you are emotionally activated. This one rule will save many people from regret. If you feel urgency, wait. If you feel panic, wait. If you feel the need to repair, explain, soften, or rescue the situation immediately, wait. Write the second message if you need to, but do not send it. Put it in notes. Leave it in drafts. Read it the next morning. Ask 3 questions. Is this message necessary? Is it clear? Am I sending this from calm or from discomfort? That last question changes everything. If the message comes from calm, it may still be worth sending later. For example, perhaps there is a real logistical reason to follow up. Perhaps you need a simple answer for a practical decision. Perhaps enough time has passed and a brief follow-up is reasonable. That is different. A calm follow-up can be respectful. An anxious follow-up usually leaks need. So let time expose your motive. A lot of messages that feel urgent at midnight feel unnecessary by morning. That is valuable information. It means the pressure was emotional, not practical. Comment draft if you need to stop sending things in the heat of the moment. There is another side to this. Sometimes the second message is not just about fear. It is about control. You want to shape how the other person sees you. You want to correct their impression. You want to manage the discomfort of not knowing what they think. That desire is deeply human, but it is also exhausting. You cannot control another person's interpretation completely. You cannot control whether they are mature enough to answer honestly. You cannot control whether they have already decided to withdraw. You cannot control whether they are confused, busy, avoidant, careless, or manipulative. You can only control whether you stay honorable in the face of uncertainty. That is why the deeper Stoic question is not, how do I get them to answer? It is, how do I behave in a way I will still respect tomorrow? Maybe tomorrow you will respect the message you sent. Maybe you will not. But you are far more likely to respect restraint than panic. You are far more likely to respect clarity than over-explanation. You are far more likely to respect silence than begging for certainty from someone unwilling to give it. And if a relationship, friendship, or conversation truly needs endless chasing to stay alive, that itself is information. Do not ignore what repeated effort keeps trying to teach you. Which is harder for you, waiting in silence or accepting what the silence may mean? Hold that question honestly. Because for many people, the real pain is not the unanswered message. It is the answer they suspect is already there. The final part is what to do instead of sending the second message. First, return to the body. Stand up. Walk. Drink water. Get away from the glowing screen. A trapped body feeds a trapped mind. Second, name the reality. I sent the message. It has not been answered. I feel anxious. That is more honest than pretending you are just clarifying. Third, give the silence a container. Tell yourself, I will not revisit this for 12 hours. Or until tomorrow morning. Or until the workday ends. You are not burying the issue forever. You are refusing to let it consume the entire night. Fourth, re-enter your own life. Do one real thing. Finish the task. Read the page. Call a friend who gives peace instead of confusion. Sleep. Train. Pray. Journal. Anything that reminds you that your life is still larger than one silent phone. And fifth, if a follow-up is truly needed later, make it simple. No emotional speech. No hidden accusation. No desperate explanation. Something like, just following up on my last message. Or, let me know by tomorrow if this still works for you. Short, clean, no leaking energy. Now bring all of this together. Silence is not always rejection, but it is always information. The second message is often not communication. It is discomfort trying to become action. Your job is not to force clarity from people who are choosing ambiguity. Your job is to keep your own clarity. Separate fact from interpretation. Notice when urgency is emotional. Let silence reveal something before you interrupt it. Draft instead of sending. Follow up later only if it is truly necessary, and only from calm. For the next 24 hours, use one rule. If you feel the urge to send a second message, pause. Write it but do not send it. Wait, then read it later with a cooler mind. Comment 24 if you are willing to try that challenge. And remember this: not every unanswered message deserves another message. Not every silence deserves pursuit. Not every connection deserves your panic. Sometimes dignity looks like patience. Sometimes peace looks like stepping back. Sometimes wisdom looks like letting the first message stand. If this video helped you, subscribe to Stoic Echoes for more practical lessons on self-control, overthinking, relationships, and inner peace. But before you leave, remember the question: am I trying to communicate, or am I trying to escape discomfort? That one question can save you from many regrets, and it can save your peace from being ruled by a silent screen.